Greetings everyone, please give a moment to make sure this is set on up. My apologies for those who are wanting to see the Advanced Wars by Web livestream like I usually do on Mondays yesterday, but I was just far too exhausted. I had like 2 hours of sleep and I was a little bit sick, so I had to take some rest. My apologies. Either way, there's still plenty of free plays on my channel for y'all for viewing pleasure if you have and want to get some more. Either way, let's see now. Let me make sure everything's set on up. Additionally, I'm also going to start up a replay that somebody submitted to me. I believe I actually missed it, and I sort of feel bad, so I'm going to go ahead and do that immediately before I forget. I'm not very well organized when it comes to many things. And looks like everything's good there. Live stream's going on. My microphone is working because I sometimes have to remember that. And give me a moment to check my other computer. And, oh yeah, I need to activate the live chat windows. Yep. And I think everything is good to go. So, let's go ahead and get started. Greetings everyone, and Great here with another Advanced Wars Days Ruin Tiny Wars replays. On the right side as the red beast, we got Chicho. I still don't know how to pronounce that. On the left side as the green will, we got Yoshi Rider. This map is snow, but I'm pretty sure it's a visual effect. They should be able to move fully, usually if snow indicates by actually snow falling on the ground. Because, let's be frank, snow falling on the ground is different than snow on the ground, I think. When it comes to COs, of course that's the wrong button there, we have Will, who is unchanged with cartridge counterpart, 50% boarding cost, 2 radius, 30, 60, 60. Additionally, it does have 10% offense defense for all units like all COs or all base COs, and all direct units get additional plus 20% offense. And for a superpower, it gets plus 2 movement. The beast is technically a custom CO. After all, in the cartridge, he was actually just a placeholder CO who had no... He was just literally a no CO meant for the campaign. 50% boarding cost, 3 radius, 30, 60, 60, all of that pretty standard. Here's a little bit of a list. All units, of course, get a standard plus 10, plus 10. The sun icon top since was not snowing. I could probably take a look. Oh yeah, the fact there is a sun means it's a clear day. That helps. I just usually focus like, oh, the snow effect means snowing. It was one way. All units get the standard plus 10, plus 10. All specialty units are the infantry, mechs, bikes, recon, and flare. Effectively, the raiding, quote-unquote, the lighter units get additional plus 1% offense in the CO zone, and additionally gets a bit of raid. If they end their turn on opposing property, you get 1,000 funds, or whatever funds it actually normally yields, and then applies a debuff to that tile for 1 turn, saying no income, resulting in you take that person's income. It prevents they don't get income for that property next turn, and you get immediately that 1,000 funds. When it comes in, the beast does have actually 2 powers. They both cost 60. One is the Lun effect or Sonya effect. The specialty units get, of course, that offense global. Also gets plus 2 moves and plus 2 vision, so it really allows a raid, and makes the capability to raid global rather than just being in the CO zone. Or you got the superpower, which of course makes all that effects global, but instead of the vision effect, you get triple income on any property you end your turn on, be your own, neutral, or your opponent's property. That way you can actually end your units on your own turn on known properties to pay for the income. Of course, you will then get the next 3 turns no income, so it is net neutral, but it does allow you to pay for, and pay for means you get immediate access to it. Plus, you can seal the array funding of neutral properties, which is definitely unique, and of course your opponent's property, which will really hurt them a lot. Either way, let's go ahead and get started. There's a number of properties on these question mark cities here. I have a good feeling what it is, but usually that stuff is explained at the start of the game, so let's see. Oh, apparently there's a whole item. Flash. Wait, do I click? Oh, okay, I do left click on it. That would be on page. Okay, really 69. It's double income. So some properties does offer ×2 income. You can see here. Really, page 69, of course. I wonder. Okay, it's still Will. Sorry, the CEO was Will. I was wondering if it does this for both players, and I was wondering if it, since Will was Will, would have chosen Beast here. Oi, what does that do? Wait, that sounded too British. What would the Beast sound like? In early part of the Beast, he was definitely a bit more brutish. Then when Calder gave him the medicine effectively Berserk, he became actual Beast-like. I don't know how to do impressions. I'm horrible for impressions to begin with. Either way, there's a bunch of high-yield properties. High-yield properties, maybe the best way to put it. I wouldn't mind for them adding more tile sets. For example, maybe adding the old-style comm towers. I think the old-style comm towers are better where it gives +10% offense and no % defense, rather than them sort of equaling each other out. So maybe if they're ever to add in more towers, such as the old-style comm tower, could really add in the old-style comm tower as a icon. Just a theory, though. I mean, they've done it for some other map centers, like for the Black Cannons. Just ideas. And if people want to have a concept for like high-yield income towers or high-yield cities as a possibility, just as a possibility, maybe add make a custom tile where it like has like 4 stacks or something. Maybe add in a mansion tile. I don't know. Is that asking for too much? For I know in Advanced Wars by Web that would definitely be asking too much since they try to be a bit more accurate to cartridge. Of course, Tiny Wars is a bit more not creative. Is that a good term for it? A bit more. I don't know how to put it. Willing to make changes. That could be an idea. Looks like this text is staying up there. No, that's actually somewhat nice for casting. That way people just simply know and doesn't have any obscurity. Do now have a tank deployed on the field by Will. It's also one of those things as well. It's like if you start adding more and more things, when will it become Days of Ruin and when will it become not? Whoa! The Beast is eyeing for some power play here. He's going straight medium tank, double base skip. Is it going to seal it? How effective is the raid mechanic with the high yield cities? That should be pretty decent. My apologies for my drink open up. Do now have artillery, infantry. The medium tank's definitely a power play, that's for sure. Of course, it is not classified specialty unit there. Huh. I can't click on the unit there and show it down here. Am I... Oh, did I somehow click on that? Maybe I accidentally clicked on that. Oh well. Plus 35 offense, plus 65 defense, of course on top of the 3-star force, so it's plus 30, plus 30 for the natural passive and the veterancy, plus 5 from the comm tower, and plus 30 from the forest. But we're going to be a bit of a conflict here. An early anti-air there and an early anti-tank, so got a lot of unusual assets. Puts the medium tank on the high yield city. Tank, infantry, bike, T-copter. I'm curious as well. Stupid question. Is there repairable units? 14. I guess that's okay. That means just 14 units. Plus 20. Wait. Okay. That's normal. So I never really looked at a stat as like, can it repair? I never really had to look at that stat, but it looks like Will's gonna get a decent amount of energy there, 25 energy. Beast could get a pretty good counterattack. He could get a significant amount of power charge, so he is lacking it. Actually, no, that should be a decent amount of assets. You can charge forward, get some first strike from the bikes, and then push forward with his medium tank. There is a possibility the Beast could charge a superpower this turn. Of course, he won't be able to deploy it this turn because I think he'll have to move the medium tank. I mean, his opponent did rush out a medium tank behind the wall off over there. Lots of good kills there, 33 energy. T-Copter advancing, and he's going paratrop on a mech. Right now the income's 18 versus 22, so Will does have a small advantage. He's claimed one more new high yield property. Will possibly get a CO power deploy and deploy it, though I don't think it'd be super useful for him to deploy it this turn. He's sort of lacking assets to utilize it. We do have 42 energy versus 34. This game got into combat really quick. Couple good picks there. And the Beast is at his superpower. He does also steal some income there. Yeah, you can see Will went down by 20,000 of one. Yeah, looks like 18, 20. So looks like he made sold 2,000 income. Wasn't paying close enough attention to that. And the medium tank's likely not going down this turn. He could wound it, which also would pop the superpower, and probably go for the raid. The +2 movement range on his infantry could be quite nice, particularly when dealing with the medium tank. Actually, okay, he is starting to wall it in. Something tells me superpower for the mobility could be quite nice, but right now, looks like Beast, he does have more assets in the field at the moment. Though he's lacking some stuff down south. Okay, Will has pulled ahead with his day-to-day funds, so they're pretty even at the moment. Pops the power for increased mobility on specialty units. Interrupts the stops the comm tower capture there. Could probably start trying to grab Will's. Infantry sprinting across the land. Able to get a good shot there on the anti-tank. And keeps his command medium tank out of the range. Steal some monies there, and more monies there. He put all the monies in a bag. I should really make some more, like, or any interactable quotes, and I just love that quote. Put all the monies in the bag from Thriller 3. Picks off some units there, but got the raid there. Steal some money. Good shot there in the anti-air. Though we do still the battlecopter region. The Beast has his own battlecopter down south, and both the anti-airs are effectively knocked out. Good shot there. Battlecopter get a good strike in the battlecopter. Probably worth a sack of battlecopter to take out battlecopter, because he's not exactly healthy there. Though maybe chaining two battlecopters hit there and try to focus out this one. Will ends turn 106. Beast starts with 85, so they're pretty similar. The Beast is slightly behind, but gets an easy kill there against the anti-tank. Pulls back the anti-air. Does not take out that one unit. Good strike on the Will's command tank there. 21 energy. There's the battlecopter there by that fresh one. Takes the Will's command tank there. A lot of good hits there by the Beast. And he's going to... Oh! Remember what they say. You send capture with the infantry units first, because now he went the entire term not having two comm towers in his favor. Mistakes were made. Mech, infantry, battlecopter, anti-air. Sacks that unit there. The Beast has 30 energy at the moment, though his command medium tank has taken pounding. He could try joining the two medium tanks forward. Those radius is large enough that maybe a superpower next turn. 8, 9, make that 18, 28 possible. Yeah, possibly he can get his superpower this turn, but taking out the Tinker one shot's not likely. set the anti-air up north. Gets a good strike there. Sack the unit there. We'll be stealing that income. He does join the medium tanks together. Wasn't sure what he was planning to do. Duster, infantry, tank, and infantry. So it looks like the beast's having trouble with the battle copter, so I'm going straight for Duster. You have a rig on the field. Will has 10 energy to his superpower. Got another triple tank. The beast's turn. Does flip that high yield property, so it's 22 versus 20. The only difference is this despicable neutral property down here. This comm tower was also flipped as well. Battlecopter, tank, infantry, mech. Does interrupt the capture there. And does a bit more than interrupt there. 10 capture progress remaining. So at most 2 turns to take the capture. It's going to take at least 3 turns because of course the mech will need to join after a capturing. You also have anti-air here. He could just abandon the property, put the 8 health anti-air to hit the battle copters would probably be best. Maybe the mech can just sack itself on the anti-air. Almost takes it out there. Rolls with that 1 health infantry unit. Front lines being drawn. 52 energy for the beast. And the beast goes for a bomber. A perfect item to raid properties, right? I was gonna get a strike there on the mech. And it looks like the Will's making some good progress up north. He's all gonna have to sack the 4th infantry there to interrupt the capture. Maybe send an anti-air up north. Duster's a little bit far away. Will's on an advance. He's at 19 energy, so he's very far from the superpower. The beast can easily deploy a superpower out next turn, whether if it does or doesn't, because that'll be sacking a medium tank's turn. No superpower this turn. There's the mech there. Anti-air strikes battlecopter. Strikes tank there. Tank comes to a flank. Another tank gets a good shot there on the Will's command tank. Another good strike there. Bomber advancing. Tank, T-copter, bike, and anti-air. Will's getting some energy. Possible does pull back his tank there. Thought it was possible superpower this turn. But you have to spend half of his turn on that. Right now, Will has 97,000 versus 130. Does have, of course, his day-to-day funds even out. But he's pretty far behind the moment. A turn and a half. And these front lines are smashing together, so the beast's going to have a pretty beastly turn this turn. That was a horrible pun. No regrets. Beast does not deploy a superpower this turn, since of course it is low level medium tank. You want that tank to fight. Trying to flip the comm tower, we'll take a bit of turns. Go and sack the T-copter there. Howdy. Mech, medium tank, and another T-copter. Battlecopter goes down. 9 quick energy there. Does get a good striking Duster, allowing a bit more free range for his Battlecopters, but at this point in time, he needs at least a Dust to help deal with the Bomber. Bombers, of course, can be effective versus anti-airs in the right situation. Will does have good core tanks, that's for sure. Duster, Mech, and Rig. Will does make some progress over here. The Beast has right now 23,000 income, but Will does have both comm towers right now, which is quite significant. He has good strikes there, puts some good damage, but the problem is he has nothing to stop the Bomber. Still not deployed on anti. So has this anti up here, but it's not necessarily reliable enough, in my opinion. And we got the superpower there, so now he has global raid. That's 3 turns of income there, paid forward. 3 turns of income on both those high yield properties. That is a massive amount of money. If I were to go back a little bit. Yeah. I'm trying to take a look at that. If I were to... Yep, you can see the money change right there. Yeah, that was a bit poor on my part. But that's quite a bit of raid there. Looks like this didn't get it, even though it was ended its turn onto it. Do now have a Rig, medium tank, Mech, and another Bomber. So yeah, that was 12,000 funds right there. Stolen, paid forward, allowing them to get quite a bit of assets there. And of course, Will's going to be down that income for the next 3 turns as well. We've got 2 more turns, so Will's going to be putting down, or temporarily down, some income. Tank, anti-air, infantry. Yeah, that raid was quite effective. Good bomb strike there. Making some decent progress up north. Right now he has 140,000 with 23,000 bank. Will only has 78. Duster gets some damage there. Another Duster tank. Will does have his superpower available, but it's not popping at this turn. Which that could be enough to turn him around. After all, +2 move range is quite significant, but he needs quality fast anti-airs. Has 2 more infantry and another anti-air there. Takes out the Will's Battlecopter. Multiple bombers are advancing. The Beast may want to take out that command tank. It is a high threat target, the superpower able to pop. Taking out the mech there shouldn't be too difficult, and the bomber could finish off the tank. And looks like he does stay back a little bit there. And does stay beyond maximum range of the anti-air. Very nice. Lots of good picks there. infantry, battlecopter, infantry, tank. I think a duster would have been a bit better. Though the beast does have 2 dusters in the field. And that bomber needs a bit of fuel. He does have a rig. The rig of the game. Another bomber. 3 beast bombers. Does pick up the mech there. Artillery's trying to slowly creep his way forward. 1 comm tower's been flipped. This comm tower needs 2 more turns. Which the anti-air could be able to finish that off. And Will's just trying to zone out his opponent right now. Rocket, no. Rocket's far too slow. There's a lot of good terrain tiles here. There's too many aircraft to think a rocket would be a good idea. The Beast has now deployed out his CO power, so now has global raids, as well as plus 2 movement range on his specialty units. See a bit of raid there. And looks like the Beast is actually eyeing towards this one HQ. This infantry is in range. Tank, mech, tank, T-copter. And here comes Will's superpower. Takes out the T-copter. And didn't finish off the medium tank there. Finished off the infantry unit there. Did not go for Duster. I'm not sure why. Was it a misclick or was this going to be a resign turn? Because I would assume to be a better offer. It does take out the infantry unit there to prevent the HQ capture, so that could be actually planned. Probably was, because like I said before, and the infantry was in range of being captured, but we've got the rocket and the infantry in there. Should have gone for the Duster. Strikes the missile, or the rocket there. Missile is in range of a pair of Dusters. Medium tank is in range of the anti-air. May just try attack it, then join it. Oh, keeping the command medium tank with 1 health left, not join. At 6% health remaining. Battlecopter, infantry, mech, and anti-air. Missile does get a good strike there on that Max Vet bomber. And does take out the Max Vet bomber there. Anti-air, battlecopter, infantry. Does not take out the rocket there at 1% health. Beast at 33 energy. Wills right now down 60,000. The Beast is up to potentially 190 total. The Beast has to pull out a full fighter. Not really needed at this point in time, but at least it's fast enough to get to the front line quickly enough. The missile does get a good strike there on the bomber. Battlecopter, tank, mech. There's a good strike there on the battlecopter. Takes out the missile. I'm starting to flip the HQ now. Is it flip or conquer? Probably conquer is actually a better word for this. Bike, tank, and bomber. That missile has gotten so many shots off the bombers, but they're just been barely staying alive thanks to all the other benefits like the +10/+10, and of course the +10/+10. You can actually merge bombers into one being somehow. And HQ capture, ending the game. That's Angrade saying thank you for watching, and on to the next replay. I sort of ran out of time when searching for or getting everything set up, so I'm going to find some replays quickly enough. If you have any replays in mind, just go ahead and type a replay number in the chat and I can take a look at it. Just trying to find anything above 20 turns. That'd be reasonable enough. That's basically how I look up, like, how many turns and actions. Big number, good. Check it out, see if it's a 1v1, good. And then do it. Are the players above 1200 rather than lower ranking one? Because I sort of just, I really don't like the fact of, like, just seeing, how to put it, ultra low rank stuff, because I just don't see confidence. I don't know how to put it, or at least put it nicely. By the way, let's go ahead and get started. Greetings everyone, and Gray here with another Advanced Wars Days of Ruin Tiny Wars replay. Small on the south side as the Green Hawk and Skylar SK. Small on the north side as the Black Lynn. I don't know why I had trouble remembering her name. We have Ari32. When it comes to COs, Ari is unchanged. Wait, I thought she was changed in Tiny Wars. Maybe not. She's unchanged. This is the unchanged version of Lynn, either way. 50% boarding cost, 1 raise, 30, 60, 60. Of course, all units get +10/+10. Ground units get +20% additional. And does have the vision effect as for a superpower. Yes, I try to do I do Advanced Wars by Web every Monday, but I didn't do it yesterday because I had 2 hours of sleep. So I had no sleep, I just had a rest. Either way, and for Hawk's technically a custom CO, and at least in the Days of Ruin Tiny Wars. 50% boarding cost, 2 radius, 30, 70, 120, max energy is 120. As provides +1% offense, +10% defense. Of course, Black Wave provides 1 health restoration, -1 health, costs 50 energy. And Superpower, which is Black Storm, which does provide a +2, -2 effect, but only costs 100, so you can overcharge his power to get a bit of refund going. Yep, I've seen some pretty good low-rank games, so pretty fun replays. It's also can be quite informative of what not to do. But either way, let's go ahead and get started. It's just that I try to avoid casting low-ranked games because it's one of those like hair-pulling stuff it can be. No offense to them, I know everybody has different skill levels, but there's some things just hair-pulling. If you ever want a basic idea of how to be reasonably good in the game, avoid building rockets, avoid building missiles. That's basically step 1. Rockets and missiles. Missiles can be nice in Fog of Wars, but generally rockets don't. And I probably should mention this map. This map is a triple base map, 1 airport in the corners, so both players have access to a good amount of production view. There's also a pair of relatively safe comm towers. If your opponent manages to capture them, they're probably already won the game because it's behind the HQ. Out of Tiny Wars is let's see. Comparing Tiny Wars and Advanced Wars by Web. Missiles did get a bit of buff in Tiny Wars, or in Advanced Wars, even Days of Ruin. Its max range is got buffed up to 6 from 5, so missiles are actually better in Days of Ruin inherently. There's also more aircraft options, albeit the Duster, which is still relatively rare, but there are just a bit more assets to play around and work with, to say the least. And the damage scaling between the two tiers, the ground tiers, are actually a little bit more equalized. Medium tanks in Days of Ruin only cost 12,000 rather than 1,600 or 16,000, and the scaling between tanks and medium tanks is greatly reduced, in which the best comparison from Advanced Wars by Web to Days of Ruin is the difference between medium tanks and neo tanks in Advanced Wars by Web, where you can actually use, in Days of Ruin, you can actually use tanks to fight medium tanks and be reasonably effective. Honestly, medium tanks feel like they probably actually could stand to get a small buff. I feel like they're a little bit too weak, but costing 12,000 makes them pretty affordable. Especially when this game's infantry is cost 1,500, which actually is quite expensive. It really does add up. We do now have a mech here and a rig ready to push forward the mechs. It also feels like mechs are a bit stronger, probably because medium tanks got their effectiveness reduced. Mechs, tanks, and battlecopter has the same firepower, which means mechs are actually quite reasonable versus medium tanks. Problem is, it's hard to get mechs in range of anything. I always say mechs counter everything, but they get countered by everything. They're a double-edged sword unit. A relatively cheap double-edged sword unit costing 2,500, so they're even cheaper than Advanced Wars by Web and previous Advanced Wars. But we do have Hawk's command tank here. I also call them command tanks rather than CO tanks or CO units, just because I play too much of any other RTS, like Company Heroes, as well as played quite a bit of Steel Division and Wargame Red Dragon, where there's a lot of command units. Yeah, if you ever see me mismount something, it's because I have too many games to cover. I don't think Daunting as it doesn't know the game, but offer Daunting like offensive power charging means true. The CO power system is yeah, definitely a bit more risky, but it is, let's see, I don't know how to put it. I understand the difference in the CO power. Since it's not guaranteed to help you even out the game, it means you really have to be smart about it. And I understand when players don't like the new CO system, because the CO power systems can be both a snowball mechanic and also anti-snowball mechanic. Battlecopter, infantry, mech, and tank. If there's ever a Days of Ruin 2, I would like to see a game mode where you can select either style, the old style, the new style of CO zones. That could easily keep players homogenized in the new game as a possibility. But of course, it's going to be difficult to get any new Advanced Wars game, because apparently Advanced Wars Reboot Camp wasn't successful enough as well. I say there's a lot of room the new system can be played around with. A good basis. Lynn's command tank here, offering plus 75, or right now plus 50, plus 15 total for this tank. Well, Forsyth still has to rely on the single CO zone, which is very large. And it doesn't have power, superpower. No, I don't think that comparison is correct. Looks like Hawk is making some plays over here. Artillery pushing way forward. Some merges here. Of course, Lynn's making some great gains over here. Has both the command tank and the artillery in range. Infantry units nice and buffed up, even on top of a road. Of course, the road going nowhere. Do now have artillery, infantry, tank, and nothing else. Now artillery, rocket. interrupts the capture there. Yep, a lot of these roads reminds me of Civ 5, early Civ 5, if anybody knows those memes. Looks like the gunboat, collective gunboat, took a massive hit there. And lands up to 1800. Her CO zone's quite small, though very effective. Mech, anti-air, tank, battlecopter. Rocket. Oh! Hawk pops this black wave. I wasn't paying close enough attention to that, so everything got -1 damage and +1 health. And of course, he gets his +20% offense and 10% defense globally as well. He restored the health of gunboat by 1 health. Very impressive. Does spot Lynn's command tank there. Battlecopter tank. Artillery infantry. Takes out the gunboat there. Wait, I thought HQ's had hide. Yeah, it has Oh wait, did they change it? Yeah, I think it was just changed. Beforehand it said hideable units, ground and naval, but now it's just defense bonus, ground and naval. So, like air units, some units cannot be hidden on certain tiles, or most tiles. So, naval units cannot hide on top of HQ, so you're in regular vision range, it will be spotted regardless not if you get the hidden tile revealed. There's some other things like that as well. For example, in Days of Ruin, woods only have hideable units ground, but if you go on the airport here, hideable units air and ground, so you can spot there. Except the producible units is air except seaplane type. Sorry, I just find that a little bit too humorous. If I remember correctly as well, yep, woods have the grounds and naval, so if somehow get a naval unit on top of woods, it will hide it. Good artillery strikes there, so looks like Hawk will stop the mech from capturing the HQ, has 11 capture progress remaining. And no mech nearby to join capture. It will take a bit of time there, so likely he will interrupt the capture fully. Lynn still has her command tank, could fall back, get merged right here. The rocket is making his way forward, facing the battlecopter. Does join capture there, or join units. Got 51 energy, and the artillery is in range of the command tank. That's not good. And the rocket is as well. So the rocket and artillery, this is shooting gallery for the indirects right now. So this will not go well for Lynn, I believe. She can let the Hawk can let the HQ get captured for one more turn, which does have its risks. He's at 12 energy at the moment. Artillery over here. Does take out Lynn's tank there. Gets the mech as well. Tank does not take the infantry unit there, but nothing to join capture nearby. And it's also full of dead. ATR will get an easy first strike on the battlecopter. Right now, Lynn starts turn 113, Hawk in turn 129, so they're pretty even, though Hawk does have an advantage. Get some great hits there with the mechs. Takes up the unit there. Manages to also put some rounds with the artillery, so Lynn's making great progress on the right flank, but the rocket is still in range. Hawk has the rockets. Which is a quote I thought about, because it's also a command card per quote. We got the rockets. I really need to add in the sound things you guys could just play. Tank, mech, tank. A lot of good hits there. Good hit there on the artillery. Does spot the anti-air there. Artillery gets inside the forest. The Hawk has 12 energy at the moment. Needs anti-airs in the region. Mechs are pushing forward. Do you have a duster by Hawk? Medium tank, meh. Quite a bit of deployment there by Hawk. Good shot there on the artillery, or anti-air. Rig is trying to load up some more units there. Oh, that is not a good spot for the end turn for the battlecopter. Does clean up, but does spot this anti-air a little bit too late as well. Yeah, if one of our battlecopters can go down, just send in all the battlecopters. That's actually not a bad idea. I'm gonna lose a battlecopter. Oh, attack then. Getting some good strikes there. We're at 39 energy. Rocket's gonna get a strike there. Takes out the anti-air. Bit of a join there. And Duster. Oh, that's a 1 health anti-air, so that's not too big of an issue. Lynn does need more anti-air assets in the field, it seems like. Making good progress on over here. 15 energy, nothing too much. Mech, anti-air push forward. Good strike there in the anti-air. She does have good amount of battlecopter coverage still. Making as much damage as possible. Finish off the tank there. Medium tank strikes anti-air. Looks like Hawk's losing quite a bit on the left flank. Hawk's rocket's down to 2 ammo. It's been constantly firing away. Takes another command tank of Lynn's. This rocket has been surprisingly effective. Slow. This is the weak side versus the strong side, since there's 2 bases, 1 base here. So the rockets on the weak side is not a bad thing, assuming it can stay alive, and it's been staying alive. Does take out the Hawk's command tank there, so no black wave. Still has a number of battlecopters over here. Mech trying to capture the HQ once again. Resupplies the mech of ammos. Bike, tank, mech, battlecopter. Does stop the capture there, hits the infantry in there. Yeah, sorry for misinterpreting. It's not a bad system to get used to. Good hits there. Get a good strike on Duster, which does still pose a threat. Does spot the rocket, but simply cannot range it with anything at the moment. I understand. There are some COs that are pretty friendly to play and pretty simple to understand. I think Tabata's a probably decent CO to get started. Penny, of all things, is incredibly punishing when it comes to CO powers. Good shot there. Got some good picks there. Good strikes. Brock does fall back, was actually fully out of ammo. Got a missile tank. Lynn's tank pushed way down south. This time the rig is fully advancing as well. She could try to get a temporary port for battlecopters. Lynn's 2 medium tanks here. One's quite battered and cruise beaten, but now this anti-tank has been deployed in the field in range of this medium tank. Puts the And here next to the anti-tank to get a bit more firepower into it. Need things at 9% health. Battlecopter, artillery, mech, artillery. Looks like Hawk's going quite heavy in the artillery. Means I'm a bit defensive. Good kills there. It's been quite a bit of a bloodbath entire game. Got 115 versus 103, so Lin has this ever so slight advantage. Which is, feel like starting to grow a little bit. Hawk's been going for slower defensive assets, which is something I disagree with. But right now, Lin is pulling back on this flank here. She's ran out of steam, to say the least. But she has a good core of tanks up here. The artillery, or the rocket, is in full ammo. And it's the range of the Lin's command tank, so probably should get a good shot off onto it. Gets a good shot there. Does not take out Lin's command tank there. Does get stuck or trapped on the artillery piece. Battlecopter. Anti-tank, infantry, mech. Another anti-tank here. Once again, it says Hawk is being a little bit too passive. Around a medium tank. I think, though, the anti-tank's probably a pretty good asset right here. Now the rocket has been spotted. Does get range and fully knocked out. Artillery's in range, though. There is just only one battlecopter for each year over here, so if Lin is able to, or Hawk able to get a first strike from this battlecopter, then his own battlecopter can reign supreme. So battlecopter's overall a good idea. Wait, that missile's in range, isn't it? I can't see the ranges until it's his turn because of the fog of war. Yeah, right now, yep, anti-air's pretty far behind, so Lin is lacking anti-air on the right flank. And Hawk has a decent amount of vision, yet the missile is in range of the battlecopter, takes it out, takes out that tank, gets some good kills there, has the CO power available, but of course the command anti-air, because it's not exactly quite easy to stay alive, plus there's two medium tanks in range of it. Oh, there's anti-air right there, so it doesn't have free range of the region. My bad, I didn't miss this one. 55 energy, in terms of 57 energy, Lin has 24 energy. Good merge onto our command tank there. Good shots there. Does not spot the missile. So that missile is ready to fire once again, but of course nothing will be in range, so just keep that missile there. At least be a decent spotter. This HQ also has 10 capture progress remaining, so she will have to, Hawk will have to sack this battlecopter and interrupt the capture. Is there any way for Hawk? Wait, he has the power. He can interrupt the capture with his power. That will give him a turn. He's going to have to pop his power just to interrupt the capture, at least, because I don't think there's any easy way for him to range it either way. Pops the power there, so that interrupts the capture by a turn. Tank battlecopter. Also, you can restore the health of that battlecopter by 1. Infantry. Oh, temporary airport that was built right there. Oh, you can build temporary airports on roads. I didn't think you could do that. Yes, you can. That would make sense. Lin's bombers heading down south. 1 capture progress remaining, so this thing has to be fully wiped out, and that's easier said than done. Anti-tanks out of range. I don't think there's, and anti-tanks are out of range of everything. I don't think there's a way for Hawk to stop the HQ capture. Yep, and does go ahead and resign. As Angrade saying, thank you for watching, and on to the next replay. Before I get started on another replay, do you need to use the restroom? Please give me a moment. My apologies, I am back. Let's go and find another replay. Let's see, that was... which one? That one. We'll do this one. It's one of those... This one's one of those chaos maps. I don't know what to describe it other than chaos. And, you know, these... Yeah, that missile silo may be obtainable. Be very difficult, though. You have to destroy this meteorite, which should get rid of this plasma, right? And then break another meteorite. So that missile silo is possible, but not likely it's going to happen. But let's go ahead and try this one. Greetings everyone, and Great here for another Advanced Wars Days of Ruin Tiny Wars replay. Spawn on the bottom right side as the, or should I say middle side, as the, what was that, teal or turquoise? Will we have frozen with brackets. On top left side, or the other center side, as the red force, we've got Matamon, a Digimon, I guess. Either way, force is unchanged to the cartridge counterparts, 5 radius, 50 boarding, 0 energy, and only flies +20/+20 for all units. Will is also unchanged from the cartridge counterpart, as standard boarding cost, 2 radius, 30, 60, 60. All units get +10/+10, ground direct units get +20 in offense, and emergency power applies +2 movement. So, let's get started. There's also some cities here, so there is some warrant to go for an artillery piece to start cleaning up these meteorites. I'm assuming these... I always forget exactly how they go with the plasma. They clear everything in between, but it's also not a direct line. So, of course, Tiny War is always a little bit different. Got a bike up north. And Forsyth goes for double bike. Forsyth, since he doesn't really care about CO power, he can be loaded up anything. Honestly, a more mobile unit that can take a beating is not a half bad idea. Do have this comm tower playing. The counterpart comm tower is here as well. You now have a tank down south by Will, so you may see himself there. And looks like Force counters a double tank. This map is double base, so I think airport production is very likely, but the airports are contestable. They're military too. And Forsyth is just trying to protect this airport. We do have a lot of shorts here, so this area is perfectly traversable. Interrupts this unit. It's not even start capturing, so it's not technically interrupt. Tank. Yeah, there's double tank. And Forsyth does load himself up on a bike there, gets a good strike on that CO unit. There's also another pair of airports here. So 4 contestable airports. Forsyth pulls back some tanks over here, designed for defense positions. Behind this mountain would be not half bad defensive position. Bike there. Medium tank, bike. So Forsyth deploying some heavier assets. Will does have good core tanks, who decides to rotate rightwards since of that medium tank. Well, it does have 50,000. I don't know why. Someone reason think there's maybe anti-tanks for too soon. I guess if the medium tank advanced either direction, he's probably going to go for a defensive medium tank or defensive anti-tank. This map is quite short both these directions, so anti-tanks could be a very good defensive asset. Doesn't go too far forward. Neither side is going to obtain airport. To have mech anti-tank over here, so looks like it's going to Force is going to lock down this flank with a anti-tank, but that will forfeit to this airport. Let's see. In order to range the airport from a missile, you need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So right here, missile right there will be able to range the airport. Doesn't take too far to get anti-air coverage there. Which Forsyth could eye from the missile on that flank. He has anti-tank to protect it as well. And looks like Forsyth's going to be obtaining this airport relatively soon as well. He does go for mech. Does catch the airport now. Has a pretty big core of tanks there. Only one anti-tank and a couple of reserve tanks back here. Handful of tanks there. Interrupts that capture that airport. This area is basically barren of everything. Medium tank advancing. It does stay out of range of the artillery. Counterattacks down south. Interrupts that capture. We've got 15 versus 15,000 income. So income's actually not exactly too high at the moment. Most time I see a lot of maps get around at least 20,000. This is double base though. And another anti-tank down south, so no missile. Which anti-tanks are useful versus battle copters as well. So that may be his plan rather than trying to lock down the airport itself. Though if it deploys on anything heavier, or even lighter, Duster could reign supreme in this region, of all things. And we got a war tank up north instead, so no aircraft deployed just yet. Forsyth could eye from an aircraft. Forsyth decides to pull back his forces, trying to rotate around by trying to range this airport now. Battlecopter artillery mech, so we do have our first aircraft in the air. Not necessarily on the field, but it's technically above the field. I have a feeling that Will may eye for anti-tank down here. Battlecopter, infantry, and anti-air. Oh, sorry, I just saw your comment there. Wasn't paying close enough attention. Breaking the meteors, erase any blue lines that is touched by it. Okay, so that's how it works. I always thought it was like two meteorites have to have plasma in between it, and that's how it works. It's been years since I did anything involving Map Maker on the DS cartridge. Of course, Tiny Wars has, I think, slightly different program for some of the stuff. Tiny Wars is very nice, nicely programmed, very readable with a lot of stuff. It's honestly a bit more user-friendly than Advanced Wars by Web. Particularly the fact that you don't need to install any plugins. Advanced Wars by Web, you probably won't install plugins. Plugins just get like basic sound, things of that sort. Anti-air, anti-air. This game's been pretty quiet so far. Both sides just trying to posture. Because if one side goes down, it's basically game over. But Forsyth's trying to rotate down south, trying to get these despicable neutral properties. trying to get income advantage. But right now, Will does have 60,000 versus Force's 15. Rotating over a good number of tanks, but got a battlecopter, tanks, and artillery here. Battlecopter could charge forward and hit the battlecopter. Of course, there's another battlecopter in reserve. Anti-air push would help zone that away, so I think it'd be good to push the battlecopter to the battlecopter and have the anti-air able to zone out the fallen battlecopter retaliation. Yep, a lot of AT, and now since Will is trying to rotate down over here, he's starting to push, Force pushing down over here, but now Force is backing off over here. A rocket. That's what wishing the rocket's not a bad idea. He can also start sieging down these meteorites. Does interrupt that capture down there. Can't be getting right now. That 16 versus 16,000. Yeah, both push up one comm tower. And now we got Will's rock in the field. Drops that capture there. Right now, Forsyth has a 2,000 income lead. Of course, we got these two properties being obtained next turn. So their income will be nice, even 18,000, and they will get rid of most of the despicable neutral properties. Still, these four in the center of the map as well as a possible missile silo. Now, also, I don't think one missile silo would be enough to change the course of the battle. Would be very nice though. Takes out the rocket there. Who's making his play, getting some great hits. Of course, these battlecopters in range of some anti-airs, so some of those battlecopters will start going down. Will now has his power available. Forsyth can just CO the medium tank back here, or just CO the mech there. Mech, of course, be a far cheaper option. The medium tank, of course, be a much more expensive option, but much more powerful option. Forsyth will likely to get an anti-tank deployed out over here next turn. CO's the medium tank. Takes out some of those units there. Interrupts the airport capture. I think as well as Will has a CO power available, which could give these units +2 movement range, aids of closing the gap. Additionally, threatening the HQ with a capture can be very nice, since it will force his opponent to deploy expensive assets to interrupt it. Battlecopter, mech, and bike. And Force of Action has actually resigned this Android, saying thank you for watching, and on to the next replay. I keep on hitting that button. Let's see, that's just yep, 4-person, 20 turns. Large map, 20 turns, probably not a great idea. The larger the map, the more turns actions are consumed. We already did with one with him. It's not a bad map. It's just a quick look. That's a lot of actions. Oh, that's because it's multiplayer. Keep an eye on 135. That's a lot of actions. 2v2. Turns. Plus a large map. 30 turns. Way too large. I just don't. Some maps just get too large and it's sort of hard to keep track of everything. This should work fine. But then again, he never surrenders, so that turns maybe inflated. There's quite a bit of disparity in rankings there. Yeah, that map is large. I don't really like the large maps. A lot of turns. Oh, that's because 2v2. It's 60 turns. Mirror matchup. This should be fine. Definitely a bit of a skill gap there. That map is also 20 turns. Is not very long for that map. Small map. All relatively new players. Yeah, let's just go ahead and do this one. An orange door hinge. Oh, great. Drake and Josh. Greetings, everyone, and great here with another Advanced Wars Days of Ruin Tiny Wars replay. Spawn on top right side as the yellow grot. We've got JR007. Spawn on bottom left side as the red Forsyth. We got King Grubber. Magnetine glass on top right will let you fill out games with more than 2 filters. Yep, I probably could take time to do that, but I just always forget to do that. Either way, let's go ahead and get started. Forsyth is, of course, unchanged with cartridge counterpart, has standard boarding cost, 5 race, no expansion, no energy, and all in a CO zone plus applied plus 20 plus 20. Grot, of course, is a custom CO in Tiny Wars, 50% boarding cost, is 0 radius, 20, 50, 50. So fast charge there, but it's actually not necessarily fast because the radius is 0. Nor does she provide a massive firepower benefit. She does get +1 max range for all units that start the action inside the CO zone, which can be very nice, and of course superpower does provide a +2 max globally. This May looks like she's very powerful, but really she is not. When it comes to Grot, I usually think Grot should be loaded up into an ATR early on to get her power charge up as quickly as possible to a rank 2 CO zone. Because she's not that great until she gets her +1 CO zone, honestly. While Tabata has another one who is effectively like a duelist character. is actually very good because she can just go around one-shotting things no problem. Even though she takes 30 energy rather than 20 energy to get her +1 CO zone, it's easier to charge up Tabata's CO zone because of that. Got some units going around capturing. Of course, it's the early part of the game. It's Advanced Wars, any Advanced Wars game. Of course, infantry can go around capture. Yeah, bike infantry. This map is a 2-base map and 1 airport. Grot captured up her airport relatively quickly and now going to the left flank to grab those cities. HQ is a little bit exposed, but it should be easy enough to defend. Got 2 cities in the back line, though artillery will not be arranged from these cities. You have to use rockets. There's also a ruins here. Remember as well, ruins are basically identical to plains, and stars include as well, but they of course provide hiding. They're effectively a plains you can hide in. And the wastelands are effectively speed bumps. They're given somewhat speed bump shape. Evil speed bumps. Got an early battlecopter by Grot. Does seal the battlecopter there. Sealing the battlecopter for Grot actually is quite nice, but it can easily be countered by a simple anti-air just zoning her out. Only push forward slightly there, so she's eyeing to move around. These players are, I think, are relatively newer. Remember as well, air units cannot hide on most tiles that you can hide in. If I were to pull up those ruins, you can see here, hideable units ground. While as opposed to the airport as a counterpart, hideable units ground and air. So this helicopter, if it's in regular spotting range, is not actually hidden. Good shot there. Anti-air pushing around the right flank. It's probably better to send the anti-air up north because the chance of battlecopter to be up north is much more likely. And Grot's pushing, or Force is pushing quite aggressively to the east of Recon, getting some good spawning. Does miss the battlecopter here. The Grot should be able to get a good free shot on in. Does not spot the tank just yet. Picks off there 1 energy. She should have tried to get as much energy for herself as quickly as possible. Remember, this is a 9,000 unit with a CO to load into it. Add 4,500 to it. This is a very expensive unit there. It has not really paid much at all. And there's one reason why is, you can be a bit more aggressive with your tanks, because it's harder to one-shot them, as well as are cheaper and easier to reinforce and things of that sort. Push down south. This tank and AT are both hidden here. One reason why, going back to Grot, the reason why I say it's easier, I have a theory that you should load up Grot into an anti-air is because anti-airs reliably one-shot infantry units there. And once you get +1 CO zone, then units who start next to battlecopter retains +1 max range and push forward. I'll able to get a lot of good value. And anti-airs are already pretty strong versus infantry, so the extra CO powerful powers and benefits is always very good. She's at 10 energy, so she needs 1 full kill in order to get her +1 CO power. She has a very good core amount of tanks here, but there's a lot of mountains regions, so these tanks will be going a long way around. Good shot there. Another battlecopter up north. No anti-air to engage the battlecopter. Forsyth gets some good early kills here, many good kills there. It does have multiple anti-airs down here. Duster and anti-air there. Also, a little bit overreaction by Forsyth all this anti-air. I think the Duster was not a good call because the amount of anti-air is already on the field. And now Forsyth can easily get overran by all of these tanks. Does Nolan enter the anti-air radius, which is not such a great idea. Battlecopters are more expensive than tanks. Even though this is a command tank, you can still merge with a regular tank. A lot of good hits there. This is the battlecopter. And falls back to the city. Probably best to try to merge it with some health tank rather than pulling back all the way. But keeping it safe from this here is not a too bad idea. But of course it's force if you don't have to worry about losing your power charge. There's an anti-air there. This anti-air is actually in a pretty good ambush position to gauge anything on the airport. However, it does lack vision up there. It does get trapped there. And as I mentioned beforehand, this is a hideable tile for your aircraft. Another tank and infantry. There's some good hits there, but sacking anti-air to take out infantry is not as a smart play. This is what, a 7,000 value unit with 2 levels of veteran seat to take on a 1,500 value unit. Though, okay, it does use that tank there. Saw that tank wait there. Looks like Grat had a plan. Grat's at 19 energy, 1 more energy, she gets +1 CO zone, which is where she starts becoming incredibly powerful. She does get +1 CO zone now. Put some chip damage into her, which is not too big of an issue. Now this anti-air does range the Duster right now. Or, one thing the anti-air could do is this. With it, since it's in CO zone, gets +1 range. Move it right there, and able range the tank out of range. It takes no retaliation damage. 15 damage, let's assume it's a high luck roll, and let's just say it does 20% damage. And that, of course, is 20% damage on the tank. Battlecopter itself took it out there. Duster did go in the melee range in that Duster there, which was not needed. But not necessarily... Oh, it's in range of a mech, so that's actually probably a bad thing to move forward like that. Spotted that mech the last wrong moment. Got a number of mechs here, so this tank can receive some mech shots. And she knows about, or Forsyth knows about the anti-air there, just out of vision range at the moment. Decides not to take a shot there from the mech. Tank battlecopter. Does get trapped there on the infantry unit there. Good pick on the mech. Does scout the mech and takes out the battlecopter with range attack. Just like it was War Thunder. Load up some tow missiles. Infantry, medium tank, battlecopter. 18,000 versus 14,000, so Grat has a higher income advantage. And Grat's command copter did take some severe beating there, but now the anti-airs will take out that Duster, no problem. And Grat right now is at 33 energy, so be ready to pull back that battlecopter, merge with this one. She can take free shots with her +1 range, but it's probably best to keep it alive. It's a very valuable asset there. You see all the +1 range there. Personally, I think that was a bad position there. She got no energy from it. I would have put it onto this tile there and get a ranged attack there to get the power charge there. Every drop of power charge is needed. Is power charge a liquid or solid or gas? Is it plasma? Or boson-Einstein condensate? If it's the same matter. Good hits there. Does have that tank. Of course, we've now got 2 medium tanks in range. Of course, Forsyth only sees the 1 medium tank at the moment. And Forsyth doesn't see much there, because of course medium tanks don't have great vision, so this infantry unit could get on top of one of these mountains. Pulls back the command copter all the way back. It'll take a bit of time to get it repaired on up. I think it would have been better just to do a joint action. Also, one reason I love maps of temporary airports on the map itself. It's such a good mechanic. Just get forward, repair, and refuel for your aircraft. I do like maps that have capturable, has neutral temporary airports as well as own temporary airports start the game. It's good hits there. Grat is end strength of 90,000, force of 42. Force in a really bad situation. Does go straight for the medium tank, try and knock those out. Does get a good hit there in the anti-air, but Battlecopter still like goes down. Tank bike. And that does put Grot down to 64,000. She took a pretty good hit there. Picks off some of those units there. Medium tank does fully fall back. And decides to push forward 6 health Battlecopter. Get some good strikes there, trying to do as much damage as possible. Gets another tank there. Does join the tanks there. Does do some joining. We've got a good number of Grot tanks in the field, 45 for 72. And there's a +1 range there from the medium tank at 3 health. Not great damage, but 40 damage. And large number of these tanks are just taking lots of damage there. It's been a bit of a brawl in the center. We'll try slugging it out. Does spot the bike. And looks like Forsyth has resigned, as Angrade saying, "Thank you for watching," and on to the next replay. Let's see, that one was the orange door hinge. Let's see. Number of players, here we go. Two. Something I should have done a long time ago. Oops. See, it was orange door hinge. Well, I may have scrolled by it. Oh, no. Let's see. Yeah, that's the one that I looked at earlier, so this one. It starts coming down from here. May have time for one more replay tonight. Could do this one. I already did cast one of those players. I'm trying to mix up a little bit more. Could do this one. Wait, I think I did this one last week. Yeah, I think I did this one, because you see here, end time that date, and 1 week ago was 22nd. So I may have already done that one. 19. Have I done this one? Okay, I think I'm starting to get into the previous maps. Is this 22? Last one was 20. None of the maps seem super familiar, so I'm pretty sure I did a good job skipping through them all. Let's just take a look at the most recent game completed. Another pass here. I mentioned beforehand there were some replays a little bit iffy on. Well, we can start doing some of those. Well, we can do this one to probably relatively newer players. So, let's go ahead and get started. Greetings everyone, and Great here with another Advanced Wars Days of Ruin Tiny Wars replay. Spawn on the south side as the yellow Brenner, we got Poof. Spawn on the north side as the red Penny, we got Lamia. When it comes to COs, Penny is slightly buff from the Karcher counterpart. Has standard boarding cost, standard radius, standard expansion, and standard energy. When it comes to her CO zone, she did get a slight buff, going from +10/+10 to +15/15. And all units unaffected by weather is a global effect, not a CO zone effect. When it comes to her superpower, the weather condition is, of course, a single set of weather for 3 turns. And of course, all units are globally unaffected by weather. Brenner is actually, this is cartridge Brenner, isn't it? I thought Brenner was nerfed from the cartridge counterpart, but this is cartridge Brenner. So this is full power Brenner. Penny's, believe it or not, is a top tier CO in my opinion. And we've got cartridge Brenner, who does provide all units plus 10% offense plus 30% defense, and of course buys plus 3 health healing. So let's go and get started. We got cartridge Brenner. Penny's turn, of course. This map does appear to have triple base. It seems a little bit congested. Large number of mountains. There's also a seaport here, but can't go too far with your naval units. Only a couple 2 blue water tiles for them to travel. Everything else is shores. In actuality, look at this. This is a shore tile there. So boats are able to go over here, and this is a wood tile, but it looks like it's a shore tile as well. You can see the traverse map. Please give me a moment. Nope, both the brown water and blue water boats cannot travel over it, so that's just completely visual with that sea texture there. Transports cannot go in that forest tile. Sorry about that, I had to double check that. It's just a visual effect. Which I always like how Tiny Wars does add some new tile sets, as well as making some visual changes to some. Though that forest tile is a little bit off-putting, honestly. A shore forest tile as a concept. I was actually somewhat thinking about there should maybe be a river through woods as a possibility as a stealth insertion river tile, and as well as defense. Maybe call it a swamp tile? Yeah, maybe a swamp tile. Whether it provides defense or just simply provides hiding, that's always a possibility. Either way. Got a pair of tanks now pulled up by Penny. Mr. Bear has advised it. Recon a little too far forward, however, tank was in range, but does go and block the tank there with infantry there. So pretty good free shot there by Brenner. Very nice. And he tried to go for a bit of bait, but was simply unsuccessful. And he may lower herself into his, yep, blows herself into the tank there. And we've got also another city on shore, but just a city. Yep, the brown water boats cannot go onto it. So, once again, another visual, not bug, but design. So, in other words, those cities have pretty good beachside property. Radar station's captured, which is effectively a 3-star city, which may or may not contain 3-star restaurants. Anti-air there, and artillery. Oh, here's a fun fact. The Pentagon has a Taco Bell in the middle of the Pentagon, which is probably the most secure Taco Bell in the world. Yeah, it's smack dab in the middle in the courtyard. That's apparently a Taco Bell. Battlecopter there. And of course we got some more bikes. Artillery's in range and stuff does fall back to the forest. There are beaches there, so that's completely traversable. Tanks are just a fjord the beach. Got another tank on the field. Artillery just pushing way forward. Maybe a little bit exposed, but don't think I see anything ranging it. This tank can nope, that tank can range it. But it will be a little bit exposed there. Lots of good picks there. Command tank does get a strike there. Burn has now 24 energy. Plus 30% defense is quite significant, and it also affects all units rather than specific, what was it, ground units that was for Brenner? Or was it direct units? I forget what the nerf was. Tank, mech, and excuse me, anti-air. infantry, and medium tank. They're striking on the artillery. Straight forward. Somewhat threatening the comm tower, just not a big threat. Artillery, of course, can get one shot in, won't accomplish all too much. And he starts the turn with 57,000. Brenner's turn 78, so we do have quite a bit of advantage for Brenner at the moment. And he does get a good strike there. Could use the 1 health artillery to take it out, right? Yeah, 7%, maybe not. Takes out Brenner's command tank there, getting rid of all the extra defense. Medium tank push right forward. Of course, let the battle copter get a good strike on the medium tank, but will be destroyed by the anti-air as a follow-up strike. Tank recon. And Penny does go down. Mr. Barrett has no energy to utilize now. And it looks like Brennan decides to load himself into a medium tank. On that top of the city for 9 total, plus 35, plus 75. Good strike on the rocket. Medium tank, infantry. So it's like, and he's spawning a good number of medium tanks. The rocket here did receive a strike. Brenner's tank gets a good strike on in. This radar station is still despicably neutral, as well as right here, 21,000 for 21,000. Brenner right now has 55 versus Penny, or 69 for 76, so Penny's pulled a bit ahead. There's the mech there. Artillery gets a good chunk. It is a 3-star property right there. And 18 energy right now for Penny. It's out that capture infantry there. Good strike there. Of course, the anti-air is going to bring up the battle copter. And Penny has now deployed a full bomber and ends with an infantry. Of course, Brenner's right there. Medium tanks aren't going to be able to range him. Bomber is out of range though. Got another rocket here. The rocket could actually advance along these shorelines. Here we go. Look at this. Got beach. So the rocket could park right there or right here and start protecting this flank and be relatively safe actually. Putting it right there is will interrupt mech movement as well as infantry movement because it will be 1-2 and can't go up here. That would be 3-4. So putting the rocket here is a possibility. Helicopter gets a little bit of strike there on the rocket. It's out that tank there. Good strike on the medium tank. Of course, this Brenner's command tank is quite resilient. This regular tank can get a good shot on in. Goes to the regular tank. Bomber advancing. This medium tank is also a little bit trapped now. The rocket's a bit of a trap unit. Sometimes you don't deploy them all too often. Does put it right there, which does give pretty good coverage, but of course it is also a bad spot now to pull out infantry units here, so focus on infantry unit here, I guess. Or take a long way around. Tank, and anti-air. Bombers in range of the anti-air, and vice versa. Does take out Brenner's tank there. Mr. Bear is now fully charged, ready to bring in some stormy weather. In non-fog of war games, rain, I believe, is the most devastating. For those who need a brief reminder of what the random weather is like, you get sandstorms reduce offense by 30%, remember, for 3 turns. Reduce offense by 30% for 3 turns. That is basically 3 turns of any other superpower in the game. Snowy, all your opponent's movement get -1 movement range. And Rainy, force Fog of War in your opponent's vision range becomes 1. In other words, they can't see anything beyond what's next to them. Which means, and you can counter that out with flares. The problem is, non-Fog of War games, you don't really build flares. Flares are nice versus pretty much they have a very powerful machine gun and rain. Penny does not get affected by Fog of War this turn. The Fog of War will start next turn. It will affect her, but she'll still have regular vision range, which anti-airs, tanks have good spotting. Plus, just on top of mountains, which are plentiful on this map, and you get recon vision. Plus, there's got recon right there. Brenner will have to apply Eye for a flare. But he's also getting ripped apart because she also gets +15 global. And next turn, Brenner will have vision of 0 enemy units bar, and the only thing you'll see will be this medium tank. And this is what Brenner sees now. Absolutely nothing. Oh, I suppose he sees this unit here as well, because on top of property. Radars do not spot anything in rain. They have increased vision around them, but in rain, their vision is reduced down to 0, same as any other unit in any other property in the game, or any other unit in the game. In other words, the radar station is worthless in rain as well. And Brenner's going to have to fight this for not only this turn, but for 2 more turns afterward. He's going to be completely blind. Does scout out the bomber there. That's probably a good idea to send that unit either the opportunity to capture the airport or spot some deployed from it. In this case, spawn that bomber is actually a pretty nice spot. Okay, so I have anti-air there. This mech is going to remain hidden, depending how well Penny's vision or memory is. Good, remember there's a mech somewhere in that region. War tank there. Mech gets good strike onto the command tank, but she's already at 27 energy, and there's 6 more energy there, and she does have vision this one, so there's another 10 energy there. Does get trapped on that medium tank there, does not take it out. Remember, Woods and Daisy Ruin have 3 defense stars. Does get a first strike on that bomber, which is critical. She's at 35 energy. Now 44. She won't get her superpower next turn. Well, she can with that movement there, she could possibly get her superpower next turn as well. So by the time she just chains weather, it's death sentence versus anybody. This is the reason why Penny is a top tier CO. The weather is just horrible to fight it. That's fighting with a handicap for 3 turns. The rain has subsided, and she has another superpower available, but she spent her command tank's turn there, so no chain of weather. So Brennan has vision this turn, and Brenner has resigned this turn. This is great saying, thank you for watching, and on to next replay. Well, I do have time for one more replay tonight, but I do need to use the restroom one more time, so please give me a moment. Apologies, I am back. And one last replay for tonight. Oh, the button again. Let's see now. That was this one. So yeah, I already did that one. Of course, I did that one. I'm gonna take a look at this one. It's a bit of a larger map, though. I've been a bit frowning upon larger maps, as I mentioned earlier. This one I was looking at, and I do like this map. It's larger, but it's also thinner, which does make a difference. So let's do this one, and this will be my last replay for tonight. Let's go ahead and get started. Greetings everyone, and right here I have another Advance Wars Days of Ruin Tiny Wars replay. Spawn on the south side as the Green Hawk, we got Skylar SK. Spawn on the north side as the Red Brenner, we got a foreign name. When it comes to COs, Brennan's course nerf from the partial counterpart has 50% boarding cost, 3 radius, standard CO zone expansion. Actually no, not standard because he only has 1 level expansion. At 60 maxed out expansion, standard maximum energy. Direct units in the CO zone gets plus 10% offense, 30% defense. All direct units, no indirect units. And of course his CO power does give him plus 3 healing. Hawk is technically a custom CO in Days of Ruin. It has standard boarding cost, 2 radius, 30, 70, 120, max energy 120. He does have a CO zone of providing plus 10% offense, plus 10% defense. Energy for his power is actually cheaper, 50 rather than 60 energy. It does provide the Black Wave effect, or plus 1 damage and plus 1 healing. And got the Black Storm effect at 100 energy with plus 2 healing and minus 2 health. However, 120 energy, which means it is smaller than 120, and you do keep all power charge over the power and superpower, so he can get a bit of overcharge to help him chain powers and or superpowers. Generally, it feels like since both the power and superpower are geometrically equal, it's probably generally a good idea to go for powers over repeatedly. However, sometimes you just get a lot of power charge and go for the superpower. Additionally, it all depends on what units get played in, but I generally have more bias towards Black Wave rather than Black Storm for Hawk. By the way, let's go ahead and get started. This map is a double base map, 1 airport map. There is a radar station here, and looks like there's no comm tower on this map. There are a pair of cities in the corners that require a transport kit there. Transport via helicopter. And both players do start out with a captured temporary airport. The temporary airports do provide hideability for both air and ground, so you can keep your battlecopters, dusters, and other aircraft both not only repaired, refueled, and but you can also keep them hidden, which is a bit of a rarity when it comes to tiles in this map, or on tiles in Days of Ruin. Because by default, air units do not have hideability in most tiles. Such as you see the ruins here, hideable units ground, but no air. And we do have a bike here, got a double bike up here. This map is quite large diagonally, but it's also very congested. You don't have a whole lot of room to maneuver, and there's plenty of hiding spots on this map, so you just have to be very careful. Airport is a bit forward, so battlecopter's easier deployment. There's also a seaport here, which of course can give you access to various ships, and since these are all ocean tiles, as well as some a reef for hiding. Hideable units only naval, by the way, so no air units. Air units cannot hide in reefs. You can use some blue water ships, such as battleships, to provide some fire support, but of course blue water ships are quite expensive. Got a tank infantry unit there. We may see a CO tank down here relatively soon. Anti-air infantry. And looks like Brennan's going to be capturing the radar station. Cities by default only has 2 defense stars. Radar stations does provide 3 defense stars. And they do provide income. We do now have a CO tank here for Brenner. On top of road, right now has plus 30, plus 50. And now Hawk deployed out his CO unit from the tank on top of the HQ. Capture the radar stations. Radar stations do provide a decent amount of vision. Of course, they don't spot through hideable terrains. And do now have a artillery and flare. Flares have the circling high machine gun capability. Hawk should probably get a shot there on that recon. Oh, man's one shot as well. I don't know what percent chance of it is a Hawk command tank, so it does get an extra firepower. Probably shouldn't be too surprised. Plus 40% firepower is quite significant. Versus only plus 9% defense. Hawk's at 10 energy at the moment. And Brennan does make some good grabs down south. Got an anti-air in the middle. No, and we do have a battle copter for Hawk as well. He went for our battle copter artillery infantry. Double tank by Brenner. No battle copters just yet. Good shot there. And there, getting up to 26 energy. We've got a tank here, but if we push forward, we will be retaliated upon. It would be a good idea not to push forward that tank. Battlecopter artillery infantry again. Oh, gets trapped there. Brennan's coming at 20 energy. Battlecopter bike tank. It's a good shot there. Interrupts the capture. Medium tank. So Hawk is eyeing for some heavy armor. Does have an artillery piece here. He is lacking armor in the center of the map at the moment, so that'll help us stabilize versus the command tank. Though there are battlecraft nearby. And I don't see any anti-airs in the middle of the map, do I? Yeah, it looks like Brenner's really lacking anti-air right now, doesn't he? He only has 1 battlecopter for effective anti-air, which is not going to be great. The Hawk does have 2 battlecopters right now. That one will not get shut off. Man tank just gets into ruins there. Provides only 1-star defense, but is hideable terrain. Gets +1 CO zone radius and trying to flip a city. Tank, and T-copter. Both players gone for T-copters, trying to capture those cities in the corner. Anti-air does take a bit of a beating, which is still needed to take on the battlecopter, but Hawk has battlecopters in the range there. Does spot the command tank there. Battlecopter. Medium tank. Not enough for a infantry there. Has 1400 rather than 1500. The monster. Trying to flip the radar station. Gets a good shot there. Battlecopter's on temporary airport, so it was hidden there. And Brenner and Hawk does not see any anti-air over there, so since the battlecopter that direction, probably should send this battlecopter strike that one. Could have got a booster strike there, maybe sack the anti-air onto it. think he could have done a little bit better with the CO zone. Really should be striking the battle copter, in my opinion. Did want to get a strike on the Brenner's command tank there. Hawk has enough for his power. And Brenner could bring a superpower. You know, it's been a while since I've seen a Brenner superpower. His primary tank is pretty wounded. There's a lot of wounded units on the map. I think it's a good idea to pop the superpower this turn for Brenner. Taking some damage there is actually a good idea. Get some health restoration. Pulls back that tank there. Battlecopter there. You have to use his command to take that out, but that'll sack his superpower. Oh, nope, there was that infantry unit that's in range. I think he should pull back and pop the superpower. He's not going to get much more chance to really get a successful one. He only gets one less radius. Yeah, I think he should go for a superpower at the end of the turn. Oh, he does not pop it. I disagree with that. There's a lot of wounded units there. This is probably the most time you ever get value from a Brenner superpower. Battlecopter, anti-air infantry. And reducing the CO zone by 1 radius is not important. 3 versus 4 is nice, but nothing critical. Battlecopter scouted up north, nothing there. So all the corner properties are still despicably neutral. Battlecopter, mech, and tank. Layered fire, spot stuff. And does not pop a superpower this turn either. Right now has plus 68 defense after all the health reduction and Beyond the Forest for increased defense. Helicopter infantry medium tank. Takes out the T-copter there. Good strike there. A lot of damage across the board. Takes off some of these units there. Takes out the wounded tank there as well. Clocks a value of 121 on the field, or so day to day. Good strike there. Oh yeah, also the superpower, let's see, out of curiosity, all units. So I was wondering, does it only affect direct units for the superpower? I'm wondering superpower, is he trying to get some damage from his own units? There it goes. I am curious about the, goes from 103 to 120. So it does get 17,000 funds recovered, so effectively 1 turn income, which I think could have been higher if he would have popped it earlier. Of course, now he does have a good amount of defense available globally to help him push forward and help prevent the retaliation. Battlecopter anti-air base skip. Hawks was 107. Of course, day-to-day funds are pretty even. The more it takes the battlecopter, the extra defense was not enough. Plus Hawk has extra offense. And we've got Hawk now has access to his power. He could pop it. It does size to pop it there, because not much you can do with the medium tank right at that turn, so might as well pop it, get extra defense globally and damage globally, and also that damage permanent, because Brenner already popped his power. And Hawk does retain 23 energy for his next power, which he could get next turn as well. Of course, that would be expending 2 turns with a medium tank. Probably a good idea to be a bit more aggressive with that medium tank than defensive, trying to pop healing. It's a tank, not a healer. It's also DPS, not a healer. Battlecopter tank, and of course, Hawk does have a pair of artillery back there. Trucks to capture a little bit further. shots there. Battlecopter gets a good shot there on the new tank. He has access to another power. Exactly 50 energy. That infantry unit's at full health mode. Does fire off a flare there. Battlecopter falls back to temporary report. Two of Battlecopter can't really do too much when there's Duster nearby. It looks like Brenner's in retreat, trying to get a better defensive position. Right now, Brenner's at 29 energy. Hawk's turn. He can pop the power this turn. Decides not to. Takes out the flare there. Battlecopter tank bike. Artillery falls back, causes a wounded artillery unit there. Gets an easy strike on that Duster. Brenner does still have a good number of battle across the field, so that Duster taking damage is actually quite important. It may need to be tasked on the temporary report itself. The 4 health Duster after a power won't be super useful either. Oh, this get trapped there. That's actually pretty bad. Could have scouted that out with a little bit more foresight. Hawk's at 84 energy. Could possibly get a superpower this turn, but don't think it's likely. Brenner right now has 105 in the field. Hawk still has 147 with 20,000 in the bank. Does pop the power right there. Putting Brenner down to 85 now. Tank, bike, battlecopter. Brenner could get his superpower this turn, which may be a good idea to pop to get some recovery of funds. Does pull back his seal unit without popping it. I think he should have popped it this turn. There's a lot of wounded stuff that could greatly benefit from the restoration of 3 health. That medium tank will go down to the artillery, especially when without the defense or the health restoration. A lot of things getting hit pretty hard there. Does lose some units there. I think he really should have popped the power there. Getting hit pretty hard there. He has been on battlecopters, but he is starting to lose a decent number of them. Hawk's almost enough for another power. Probably next time he will probably deploy out another one. Anti-tank, flare, battlecopter. Got this tank and double infantry there. You can of course take damage then pop the power. Pops it right there. I am curious. Went from 68 to 83, so got 15,000 restoration there. Gets a couple good picks on battlecopters. Another strike there on the battlecopter. Infantry takes a shot there against the battlecopter. Instead from 96, Hawks has turned 129. Went for a battlecopter anti-air. Hawk's Duster is out of ammo, so needs to fall back to the temporary report. It's also pretty low in health as well. The Black Wave would also help out with his health. Not necessarily with ammo though. Does pop the power there. Duster, tank, mech. Insert for 155. Runners at 64, and hits resign there. That's Grade saying, thank you for watching, and on to the next replay. And that shall be my last replay tonight. It's getting a little late for me, and my voice is starting to go out. So everyone, thank you for watching. Have a good evening, and get some good rest.